good, right? I hope that looks good. I hope that looks good. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm doing another video back to back. I'm back again and I'm back to win. It's been a long day night and I've been working like a dog. Alright, cut the theatrics. Time to get to business. I wanted to do a video topic. I wanted to call this one, it's been a long road since rehab, bro. That might be what I call it. I don't know. I don't really like it too much. It's not that catchy, but hey, I'm working here. I'm trying to be creative. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to share about the journey from rehab to now. Put it into context, or share what it's been like. It's been a long road since rehab. I learned a lot in rehab. Rehab actually helped change my life. That was a life changer. There's gonna be little things in life that can be big life changers. Like high paying job could be a life changer, bro. Like if you made 100K in a year, it could be a big life changer. Or when you meet somebody special that could help you get somewhere good, could be a life changer. Or a significant other could be a big life changer, or they could be bad for you, so you gotta be careful. But I have met people that I've got with people, or I've heard stories that have got people that have gotten with their significant other, and it helped change their life for the better. It helped them upgrade or something, but rehab was a life changer. I think there was a wake up call when I hit rock bottom, when I lost everything and went to jail and got in trouble. I don't like talking about I feel kind of bad about some of the things that I did when I was on drugs. And I guess everybody has, some mistakes they feel bad about, but I made some really big mistakes and bad decisions. Mostly I was on drugs, and that's mostly the reason why it wasn't as bad as some people, because some people don't come back from that. They don't come back from certain decisions they made. They end up gone for life or whatever, in prison. And I was in there with people like that. I was in there, and you could see other people going through it. They lost everything. They're not getting back out. So when you hit rock bottom like that, and you lose everything, and you do that a couple times, you do that enough, you get tired of being down and out, and kicked while you're down and out, which rightly so. I wasn't a good person, probably, and I didn't deserve to be in people's lives. I didn't. I wasn't doing much good for other people. But I hit rock bottom, and I got a reality check. I even almost lost my life a couple times playing around in the street and doing drugs, and ended up getting in trouble trying to steal things, and getting caught. And I kind of wish I went to rehab sooner. I didn't go to rehab until I was like 36. So for like 10 years I was just in and out of trouble. It was a constant thing. It's reoccurring. I was just on drugs and I thought I'd be good and I'm gonna make money and everything's gonna be good. When you're on drugs, you kind of paint things in a pretty picture. You try to numb all the problems away, see them away, and you get a pipe dream. You try to live this pipe dream. I tried to tell my cousin about that, and he passed away. May he rest in peace. Rest in peace, cuzzo. I miss you, but he was trying to live a pipe dream, and I tried to tell him about it. But I was also trying to live a pipe dream at the same time. I was on drugs and he was drinking. He was an alcoholic really bad. And even though he was like so far gone, I still loved him. I wanted him to do good. I wanted to see him come back from that. And fortunately, he didn't survive his alcoholism. And it happens to a lot of people. They go down the road of alcoholism and they don't come back. He was so bad that he would just be homeless, drinking and panhandling for money to drink. And I told him he was trying to live a pipe dream. And I was a drug addict too at the time. And I thought I was managing it. And my life became unmanageable. You'll learn these different terms in rehab when you go, if you go there, if you got a drug problem. Your life becomes unmanageable. I think that was a big term they used to say. Your life becomes unmanageable and you become derelict because you can't function right. I don't think that's how they say it, but it's the same idea. Like, you can't hold a job, you can't be productive, you can't do anything right, so your life becomes unmanageable. You become derelict, unhireable, and how would you say? How would you say that? What's a better term to use for that? Well, I think you get the idea. Your life is shit. Your life turns to shit. And I didn't want to admit it. I thought, when you're in your addiction, you're blind to the fact that, you realize you're a pretty bad person, but you're not great. But you're blind to the fact that you don't function normally and you're not going to be able to be productive or be positive or have a good attitude about things to be more productive. Maybe I should say that. Maybe your attitude is important, and when your attitude is your behavior and your beliefs combine, how you live, and if you're on drugs, that disrupts all that. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. But anyways, back to the topic. All right, so I went to jail, and big wake up call, seeing people going to prison for life and stuff. Didn't want to do that. I didn't want to end up in prison, but somehow I ended up in prison. Either way, so that's neither here nor there. I saw my uncle spend most of his life in prison, and I didn't want to end up like that. So this is all funny, talking to a camera without a person. You're just talking to a camera. It feels weird, but anyways, I saw my uncle spending most of his life in prison because of bad choices, and I'm sure he wouldn't even admit how bad they were, but he's gone too. He passed away. May he rest in peace. I miss you, Uncle Johnny. Oh man. So Uncle Johnny was another person. He was my uncle. He spent most of his life in prison. I didn't want to end up like him. It wasn't nothing personal. I just didn't want to end up like most convicts. It was just a bad look. Didn't look like the lifestyle you want to live. Many of those guys are coming back. You just go to prison, you don't get out. So he spent most of his life in prison from bank robberies and stuff like that. Didn't want to be a convict. I didn't want to end up like my Uncle Johnny. And for some reason, he kept getting out and messing up, and even going back for longer periods of time. So he would do 10 years, 15 years, and then 5 years, and a couple 2 years here. So somehow he found a way to just go back and stay in prison and stay in that loop and that cycle, and that didn't look appealing. We went and visited him a couple times in prison when I was younger, and I seen it, and I was like, oh my gosh, my uncle lives like this, what is going on? So I didn't want to end up like that, but somehow I ended up like that. I think he had a drug addiction too, and it's a big problem. It's a big part of the problem. Your drug addiction leads to 3 places. What is it? Prison, no, institutions. They have a saying in rehab. What is it? It's institutions, something, and death. Can't remember the 3, but drugs lead to 3 different places: jails, institutions, and death. I think that's it. But I didn't even know about these terms and this terminology until you don't know about it until you go to NA meetings and stuff and see other drug addicts. But that was a big help. So ended up in jail a few times. Drug addiction got me there, kept me there for years, going in and out, getting in trouble because I was on drugs. So I didn't want to admit it. Denial is a big part of the problem. Denial. You're going to deny you have a problem. Then you would accept you have a problem. Then you can change. I think that's another thing they say. I spent a few months in rehab and the meetings. I spent a few months every day going to meetings. So you hear the same things over and over. They have a big thing they do at the beginning of the meeting and stuff. I think I might have went to some when I was out, like here and there, like an AA meeting, and maybe one in jail, but I didn't really grasp it until I had to go to rehab, and I went to meetings every day. And I was in jail. I didn't know I could go to rehab. I didn't know rehab was an option for a long time, because I kept going to jail and getting out and messing up. So I wish I would have knew about that sooner. I went to jail, and then I was tired of going to jail. I was trying to see my options and see a better way out. And seeing people going to rehab, I just thought they were lucky and got rehab. They give it to you, but you can request to go to rehab. That would have been a big difference. If I could have requested to go to rehab the first couple times I went to jail, would have been a blessing. But me, I was just, ignorant and unaware of what's going on and how people get deals. When you're in jail, they don't tell you anything. You're just sitting there trying to figure shit out. Boy, was I so stupid. And so what is it? I sat in jail for months trying to figure out what I'm going to do and get a deal. And then all of a sudden, I think somehow I got a decent lawyer or something. I got lucky, and he said, hey, we can try to get you this. I was like, what? Yeah, that's an option? Okay. Yeah, let's try that. So we got a deal and we got rehab. Luckily, I didn't do anything too bad. I could kind of salvage my life and piece it back together, and possibly piece my life back together. It was in turmoil. This was about 10 years ago. So I was like 35, 36, trying to figure out my way out of this mess I was in. My life was a mess. I was lost and didn't know what to do. I didn't want to admit it. I was in denial. Don't forget how much you're going to be in denial. So, all right, forget about that. Let's see. Moving on. Took a deal. And what was it, like a 3-month deal to go to rehab, 3 months followed by probation for like a year or two. It's a lot better than going to prison, I'll tell you that. Do not, man, if you can go to rehab versus going to prison, because there's nothing in prison that's going to help you. I mean, you might come out worse. If you're lucky to come back, you're in there with animals. It's like animals in cages, and it gets crazy. But gosh, I wish I would have went to rehab before that. But I didn't know. So I went to rehab. Was there, and let's see what happened. This was a long time ago, so I'm trying to remember. I went to a pretty decent rehab. It was in a nicer part of the city. It was far away from everything in the suburbs. People were coming from all over the place trying to fix their life, and get clean, and they were trying to fake it. A lot of people were faking to get clean just to get out of jail and to go escape and then try to get high again, but they were in denial. But we went to rehab, and I went to rehab. I was taking it serious. I'm tired of messing up. I wanted to do something with my life, do something fun. I wanted to have fun. My life was full of problems. I didn't have any fun, and I was just tired. You get sick and tired, you'll hit rock bottom, and you'll want to change your life. That's another thing that helped me. Tired of being sick and tired. I think that's another thing they say. But you go to rehab. It's nicer, a little nicer than jail. It wasn't that much nicer, but it was better food, better people. I was just trapped there for a long time, having to go to meetings all day long. And so that went on for a couple months. I seen people sneaking out, leaving and coming and going, messing up, pissing dirty. You name it, they were doing it. They were fighting, arguing, getting kicked out for different things and manipulating the system. But I did my thing, made it all the way through, graduated. I went through like meetings and learning about my emotions and my beliefs and how to manage my mental health better, and how to deal with my problems better. That was a big thing. My emotions would take a hold of me and cause me to do stupid things, and then my attitude was really bad. My attitude about life and my ego maybe caused me a bunch of problems. My pride. So I started to learn how to manage my psychology, my mental health, and to grow from it, to use my mistakes and to build character and to try to be better. There's a couple things I learned there that helped me out a lot. Watching other addicts and hearing about their problems, because everybody would share every day, daily. You would have a few people share and talk about their story. And whatever they want to talk about, you could talk about it there. That's what's cool about the NA meetings. Like, people could take the floor and they could openly speak about whatever they wanted, whatever they were struggling with, whatever was going on, and kind of a healthy way. It kind of helps to vent, to be able to tell other people that are going through problems about your problem. And you would just speak for a few minutes and then say thank you for letting me share. And so I did it a few times. You don't have to. It's an option. If you're used, you can't share. If you're getting high, you're not allowed to share. You're not worthy. You cannot take the floor. So that's another cool thing. Like, if you're high, we don't want to hear you. If you're sober, we want to hear you. So it kind of helps guys get, a healthy mentality, because they're hearing sober people talk. That's the big changer, I think, with NA meetings. Is like, that's what helps you change from an addict. You'll see how normal people function and talk in a public place in a healthy way about their problems. And so I think that's rejuvenating in a way. It's healing in a way, and it helps you grasp what it's like to be a normal person, because that's all you really want to do, I think, is go back to being that normal person you once were, that happy kid without drugs and without the problems and all this stuff, all of that stuff you build up, all of that big ball of whatever, anxiety, hate, and frustration and stuff that you deal with. And you could vent about your problems. You could express yourself. You could relate to people. You could hear their problems and how they're dealing with it and what they went through. And you could understand how you don't want to go through all that. And I've seen a lot of people with a lot worse addiction for a lot longer too. So I could see, I didn't want to end up like that. And I could see, how my family ended up dealing with it in a bad way. Like, they didn't want to go to rehab. Like, I don't know if my uncle tried. I don't know if he tried or he really wanted to, but you got to really want it. That's another thing they'll tell you. You got to really want it. You'll hit rock bottom, and you got to really want it. And it's a slippery slope. They'll say that too. That's another saying. There's so many sayings in NA that you'll get too. I went there for a couple months to rehab. I was supposed to do 3 months. I think I only did a month or two, something like that, a month and a half. And then they let me out. I graduated. They gave me my diploma, and I graduated rehab. Yay! And then I got out of rehab and planned to go to meetings after that. So I started going to meetings outside of rehab. I got out and I got a place to live, which they tried to help me get into a halfway house kind of place, but it was like really messed up. They wanted a ton of money for you to live there, and I couldn't afford it. So I went back to a family member's house, stayed there, and then just like worked a job and paid them. But they were trying to charge you like something crazy. I don't know, $300 a week to live in this place with all these people. So I couldn't afford it, and I left. I tried it, but it was terrible. That place was a joke. So I got out and started going to meetings on the outside, and I was devoted, man. I wanted to stay clean, and so I think I went to meetings for like, it was a while, like another month or two outside. Like, a lot of people will get out of rehab, they won't go to meetings. They'll be like, I'm done, I'm good. But I actually devoted myself to going to meetings outside. And then I even shared in these meetings. I talked in these meetings to people, and you guys all hugged each other and all that stuff. But I didn't really want to hug each other. I didn't really like hugging people that I didn't know. It feels weird. That's a weird thing about NA meetings. People hugging you don't know. You're just going around hugging each other. But I guess it's good for some people. I don't really think it was that big a deal. Maybe it helps you feel more wanted and more friendly, or more like it's a friendly place, and it's more inviting, and so it's kind of good in that way. And then I went to these meetings, and you know what? I tried to get a sponsor right off the bat. I got a sponsor right in these meetings, and for them to be a sponsor, you have to ask them to be your sponsor, and they have to agree, and they have to be clean for a certain amount of time. They have to have eligibility to be a sponsor for you. And so Just go, yeah, I'll be your sponsor. Okay, yeah, to help me. It's supposed to help them and help you. You both work together to stay sober, and you go to meetings together, and he helps be your sponsor, and he shares like some steps they're working on, and you're supposed to work on steps. But I didn't do all the steps. I didn't really need it. You're supposed to do all 12 steps or whatever. And maybe I should go back and try to do them, but there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know if I could do. I didn't try to do. I just knew I was clean, and I'm probably good for a while. And I stayed good. I stayed clean. That's the main thing. And so I got this sponsor, and I didn't even know this guy. I just asked the random guy to be my sponsor. It was kind of weird. I didn't even get to know him. I didn't even hardly know him. I just needed to find a sponsor. They make that a big thing too. You gotta find a sponsor. You gotta find a sponsor. And yeah, I went to meetings with this guy for a while, and he was my sponsor, and he was trying to help me. And it just I don't know. I just felt like there was a problem with my sponsor. Like he wasn't doing it right. We weren't getting along right, and he wasn't really sober. He might have been cheating and doing something else on the side, because it just didn't look like he was doing it right. And so I had to fire my sponsor. You're fired. I said, no, I can't go with you no more. I can't do this no more. Really, I didn't want to go to meetings no more, but he was also messing up as being my sponsor. Oh, man, so I don't know. I didn't really meet too many good people. I mean, I met some cool people there, but I didn't really meet people that I got along with that good. I was just, you just go to this meeting and then you leave. So, but I got what I needed out of it. That was the most important part. I got what I needed out of those meetings to help drive, to help to get the ambition to stay clean, to be healthier. Because you go to these meetings on the outside in the city, and you'll see how good people are living. Like some of these people that come to the meetings, they're like doctors and they're business owners, and they got tons of money. So it gave me motivation, I think, to get my life together and try to be more like them. Even though I didn't really find the opportunities to be like them, I still wanted to have like half the stuff they had, like just the you can see the peace of mind and the calmness and the overall confidence. Even though they're still struggling in a way, you're still like 3 times better than you are, on drugs, or maybe, you're a lot better, period. So that was a big thing. That took a long time. That was like 6 months of my life to get with rehab and go to meetings outside. That took a long time, and then to get off probation took a long time. But drug addiction will consume your life and take everything from you. Your family members, friends, your whole life. It can destroy your whole life. And so I've seen it happen a couple times with my family members, and I wish they would have got help. I wish my family members could have done it and got help, and I could have seen them do it. Might have helped me out sooner if they would have did it. But you only hope for certain things. Some things just don't happen the way you want. Some things aren't meant to be. But I did get clean, and I stayed clean for a long time. I might have drank a little here and there, but mostly I think I hit my rock bottom, and I just didn't want to go back to that. It was just too unhealthy. I was sick all the time, and it was just no way of living. There was nothing good. It was a really dark place, and I wanted to have some fun. I didn't went my whole life struggling and not having fun. I think I was just trying to fill a void. I had some hurt and some pain I was trying to to feel or to numb with drugs, but you can't numb all your problems away. Drugs aren't gonna help anything. You gotta figure it out. Life is complicated. You have to accept that fact. You have to realize that you're gonna be anxious about things, but it's better to work it out with a healthy mind. It's better to face your fears. Better to face your problems, and don't look to anything outside of you to help you. You might be able to find help with other people. Focus on the solution. And you can only do so much. So that's gonna be it. That was the journey from going down to rock bottom to being sober for, what has it been now? It's been a good 7 or 8 years. Been sober. So if I can do it, you can do it. Life is 10 times better than it was on drugs. I have a lot more going for me and a lot more possible options. So if you're struggling with it, just know that you can make it out. Just go get help. You might need it. If you want, you can like, comment, subscribe. If you got any questions, put them down below and I'll answer them quick as I can. See you in the next one.